Like, what is cryptocurrency and where does the derived value come from? Yeah, so you're getting into cryptocurrency. So tell me, like, your initial experience with cryptocurrency and any challenges that you faced. Tell us, what do you look for in a very specific cryptocurrency? Is what to invest in, right?
There's always risk.
Right, there's still risk. And
we could go to zero and it could be your fault for buying now.
Right.
We could all just crash.
Right. And so there are risks involved. It's not risk-free.
With a little health and a little wealth and a lot of love, that's a life that we live. Suits and scrubs.
Hello, everybody! Hey guys, we have a good one for you today. Welcome to another episode of Suits and Scrubs. We talk about a little bit of health.
And a little bit of wealth.
Oh, we got a fan and a lot of love. All right, guys. So I'm your boy, Zachary SVP. I help you retire before you're 40. And so what's so interesting about this episode, guys, is number one, is this is very near and dear to my heart because I have a lot of people in my life that are in the military, and you have such a large pendulum around where military and wealth stand. And so my grandfather retired out of the military, pretty high ranking, fought in the Vietnam War. My brother was in the military. I have great friends in the military. So I want to give back in this way, that the best way that I can, and this is by giving free financial information based upon people in the military. And so I'm just really excited that my friend Sean here decided to be on the show today because he's done some very impressive things while in the military as far as investment is concerned. So by the end of this episode, guys, number one question I get in my DMs, texts, is what to invest in. And so this is what I tell people. What works for me, what works for Sean may not necessarily work for you. You have to invest in what you know and what you're interested in, right? And so I'm digging deep into cryptocurrency. Is uncomfortable for me because I'm not an expert in the space. And so I promise you guys that I eventually will get a cryptocurrency expert or a practitioner, which Sean is a practitioner. And so we'll dive deeper into like what that means and kind of go through his journey. So, all right, so that's my introduction. All right, Sean, tell us who you are and tell us like what branch you're part of, and we can talk about how we met.
Gladly. All right. So my name is Sean. I am currently still active duty. I am serving in the Army right now. I did start in the Marine Corps. Hoorah, Semper Fi. Whoop, whoop. That's the real branch right there. I did them for 5 years, enlisted in 2015. I was a 3531 Motor T operator, big old Tonka truck driver. And then a little birdie told to me, I was like, hey, you want to fly? Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do, sir. He was like, all right, cool. Here's an awesome program in the Army that will allow you to fly helicopters without a college degree. That was the ticker for me. And now here I am a few years later. Now I'm flying H-64 Echoes, Apaches.
And that's not no light shit. I've seen your stories, and that's some hardcore shit. You know what I mean? So number one, I'm going to cheers you and just thank you for your service, my friend.
It's my pleasure, my friend.
You've seen some shit in your life, and you managed to stay so humble. So I definitely appreciate that.
Beginnings.
So I do ask this question before we start. Number one is, like, why did you agree to be on the show? I mean, this is not for everyone. This is kind of evasive, right? But yeah, other than me just kind of twisting your arm about it, but why did you?
I wasn't so say much you were twisting my arm,
Good.
but we already had this discussion before. I remember when we first met, that
Right.
St. Patrick's Day in Savannah, like we kind of just clicked because we started talking finances, and we're like, oh, you're into finance? You're into investing? Oh, geez.
You're part of the tribe.
And then I brought up crypto, and you're like, oh, what's that kind of thing?
Right.
Like, I don't do that.
Right.
Tell me about it.
Right.
And then I told you about one of my picks that I was going for, and it was trading around 7 cents at the time, and now it's worth $4.
Right. And which we'll get into what that translates because, newsflash, hundreds of thousands of dollars this man has earned for people in his network. And we'll talk more about that in a second. So stay tuned. At the end, we'll dive deep into what that looks like. And I kind of get a little bit more technical for the listeners. And this is actually, I'm going to learn something from you because I know we talk about this stuff. Okay. So the second question I have for you is, Is there one purchase that you've made from a financial perspective that you regret? A car?
Nailed the money right on the head. So my biggest financial regret was when I picked up NCO, when I made E4 corporal, when I was still in the Marine Corps. I had this really silly notion in my head, man, I got all this money now. I really didn't have a lot. It's just, this is the mentality that happens. You get a little bit more money, you're like, man, I could do everything. I can afford this car. No, you can't. You know what I got? I got a high mileage 2012 BMW 550i with 107,000 miles, or 107,000 miles, excuse me.
What year was it?
2012.
And what year was this when you bought it?
This is 2018, 17. Bear in mind, I had my dream truck at the time. You know how much I was paying for that truck? This is just to build me, get me started on credit. I was starting my credit. I started my military career with about a 720 credit score.
Nice.
At 18 years old.
That's really, like, how did you build that?
I believe my family didn't tell me about it, but I think they had my name on a credit card, and that just helped with my tax ID.
I'm a really, really big fan of that. And there's a lot of people listening that are actually anti-credit. You know, Dave Ramsey's anti-debt. I actually think, you know, and I always say this on the show, I started with Dave Ramsey. That's exactly where I started, right? And I built my financial literacy there. And so I cultivated that knowledge, but I realized if I'd lived debt-free my entire life, I couldn't leverage myself to ascertain a certain amount of wealth. You know, and I have, like, you know, if you guys go to my website, SusanSugrovespodcast.com, I'll give you a copy of this. I have an ebook that's my life's work. If you don't love it, it makes a good doorstop. That's what I tell people. But it's my life's work in 40 pages. But if I had that, and yes, it pulls from the best minds, and then it's really my story, like where I've started, where I've come from, and it really, really helps. But anyway, it's not about me, it's about you. So it's funny because when you mentioned Savannah, and I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but I always ask a question to my crypto people, right? Like, what is cryptocurrency? And where does the derived value come from? And I'm not going to ask the question to you because we've already been there. But if you guys know, like, how you can define this for me where it makes sense, yes, you can talk about decentralization, you can talk about mining, you can talk about scarcity. But what is it backed by? And who determines the value? I know supply and demand, like, I would love to have a debate with this. But let me know, like, drop a name in the comments. Let me know. Okay, so... what inspired you to really get into investing just before you talk about cryptocurrency? So
one thing I always noticed growing up, and mainly also when I joined the military, I would always see some people, like, because I was in California, where I was stationed in California, so I've been to LA, been to San Diego, and I'm looking, I was like, how do all these people afford this? Because I just, like, how do they do it? Because I'm just going off of what I have.
Right.
I wasn't getting, you don't get paid a lot when you're at the bottom of the barrel in the military. You get paid, but if you don't have any debts at the time, it's definitely livable. You're fine. But what do young kids do? They're stupid. And we spend money on stupid stuff.
Right.
But that's one thing that I always thought about. I was like, how do they actually afford it? Like, where do they get that from? Like, what do they do?
So you have a natural intellectual curiosity.
And this leads me into what I was getting into. I actually discovered, like, I actually started looking into markets, like the stock market. That's where I got my feet wet into investing for the first time. And I dabbled in day trading. I didn't know what I was doing. Obviously lost money. I wasn't playing with a lot, but I was...
Define day trading for people. I know what it is, but define how you would describe day trading at that point in your life.
Buying and trading a security within 24 hours.
And what was your strategy?
My strategy, I didn't know anything at the time. I was just looking at... It was just pattern recognition at that point. But how I got into it, I was looking at YouTubers and just kind of following along what a lot of people, young people do, or new traders. They try to copy trade, and they just, like, watch a live stream. They'll see, like, okay, I could do this too. But then people don't realize, or I didn't even realize, they have way more capital that they're playing with. I'm playing with maybe $500.
Yeah.
I can't compete. You see their profit or their P&L. And you try to compare it to yours, like, oh man, I'm never gonna get there. How the hell do I do that?
Yeah, but
it's really demoralizing.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing that you said, though, is because, you know, the best way to learn is by doing. I believe that.
Also, I'd say exposure,
and learn by doing. Just like this whole YouTube thing is new to me, right? I like 40 plus episodes in. By the time you guys see this, it'll probably be in August. You know, it's you know, we have a huge queue behind us, but yeah, it's just learn by doing and failing forward. Is what I believe in that.
One thing I will say is everybody is a loser, but winners are losers who never quit.
I love that. That's a good quote. Yeah, I say the same thing. That's what I told M. I said, we have all in for a year, but we signed a social contract with each other for 5 years doing this because we believe that in our mission to help people and to get this level of information out there to genuinely help people. Okay, so you started investing. You had like $500 or whatnot. What was your next step?
So I didn't really actually have a strategy. It was just me being young, just trying to look for something to get an extra buck. Wasn't actually that serious. I didn't actually get serious into investing probably until about 2017 when I first discovered cryptocurrency. And the way I got discovered cryptocurrency, I was this is at 29 Palms. I was a corporal, and I was trying to get into spicy stuff in the gym, doing the super sauce a little bit, and I was like, man, how do I get it? My boy, Justin.
What's up, Justin?
Justin Monera.
What's up?
He shows me how to get the stuff. He's like, oh yeah, I'm buying it from Romania. How are you doing it? Oh, I'm using Bitcoin.
When we say the stuff, what are we saying?
Oh, Diana Ball. Freaking roids.
Gotcha. Hey, you're being honest, man. No. I appreciate you being honest. It's very common in the military. So.
Oh yeah, people don't realize like everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
We just want to be strong. It's not like we're doing it. We're not competing athletes. We're in the military. We want to be strong and efficient.
Right.
But not everybody does it.
Right.
Anyway, but he said, "Oh, I use Bitcoin." But what's Bitcoin? What is that? He was like, and he just shows me Coinbase, shows me how to set up the account, whatever. I had no idea what it was, and it's kind of funny looking back at where things are now. I used to have I had a few Bitcoins at the time, and it was like for a few $100s.
Oh, jeez.
Actually, no, in 2017 it was probably trading around like $1,000, but I was like, that's insane.
Right.
That's how I figured out about it. And now, fast forward a little bit, I didn't actually start really buying stuff till like later that year, like when the first bull cycle started. Like when Bitcoin actually reached like to that high point of like 16,000.
Right.
I was like, oh wow.
Right.
This is something.
We got serious.
Yeah. It was like it kind of sparked a little bit of interest in me, and that's when I started talking to my dad about this, and I got into some other stuff. Like I think like XRP was one of them. I had no knowledge. I was just looking at CoinMarketCap, looking at what was like the top mover, and I'm just following and trying to follow trend. No mind madness at all. This is just blind investment. This isn't anything with any brain power at all.
Right.
It's just catching a wave. Essentially, it's like your first good trade, essentially, it's how I would say. I remember I bought XRP when it was like cents and it traded up to like $3. Like, oh, wow, I turned X amount into this amount in this rapid amount of time. Because that's the thing I'm going to say about cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is the only asset class where you could do a long-term investment and see a massive return in a short amount of time.
That's right.
Extreme volatility.
It is extreme volatility, and so we'll talk more about the risks of that. But let's take our people on a journey. And so you're getting into this cryptocurrency. You're thinking about Bitcoin, and before we actually get into there, I have a story that I share with people who talk about cryptocurrency. So back when cryptocurrency was a few $100, right? I had a friend of mine who I met, and I was trying, listen, I'm trying to help him out with girls. Like, he's tall, I'm tall. I was like, this is like 10 plus years ago, right?
I'm hot, you're hot, let's go.
Yeah, he was a cool dude, and I met him in the bar, and then like I was at work, and he said, hey, come down. I want to. We talked about this investing or whatever. So you know how we geek out about investing, right? And then like no one's in the room, by the way. Like all of our friends, just like 40 people there, and it's just investing, and then everyone else everything goes black. That's all we talk about. But I digress. So the guy messaged me. I come downstairs, and he shows me a laptop and does this whole presentation. And it was this whole decentralization of the banks. Well, first of all, I work for a bank, and I was like, what the hell is this dude slinging right now? And he was like, yeah, I want to talk to you about this. And it was cryptocurrency. And I put him in my phone as crypto, like Bitcoin, what's his name? And that's before Bitcoin was even a thing. And he was all in on this thing. And I've been trying to reach him forever. And especially when it was like 65,000, I think is the top.
Right now, I think it's trading around 68,000.
Yeah.
It hit a high of like 80.
Yeah. And so he reached out to me, and it was an opportunity missed. But at the same time, like I've been hit up with multi-level marketing. I've been hit up with the whole Iraqi dinari thing when we invaded Iraq, which is, I know, I'm just being honest, it happened. And like Iraqi dinari, like you can have $1,700 for 1,000,000 Iraqi dinari, which is foreign exchange. And they said that at its peak, it was $1 to 3 Iraqi dinari. So if you invest in $1 million, and a lot of people are jumping in on this and hold that, eventually the economy will go back in my lifetime where you could trade that and you could just net like $1 million on a $1,700 investment. That was the thought. Anyway, I was getting a lot of shit slung at me, and I was just like, I don't know about that. But cryptocurrency was something that it's always those investments you're just like, okay, bye. It's a missed opportunity. But it's not necessarily a missed opportunity because you told me about it 2 years ago and I could have jumped in. And I didn't realize that.
You have a lot more money to play with than I did.
I don't know about that. But that goes back to buy what you know and what you're comfortable in. And we'll talk more about this, but I did commit to you that I will probably dabble a little bit into this just for some play, and if I lose it, I lose it. If I don't, I don't.
It's fine.
Yeah, so you're getting into cryptocurrency. So tell me, like, your initial experience with cryptocurrency and any challenges that you faced.
Well, I would say, so I didn't actually get real serious with like the winning, like actually putting dollar cost averaging, being actually really on top of it with a rule set, with an investment mindset. I didn't start doing that till probably around 2020s-ish.
How'd you lead up to that point, though?
Well, I told my dad about it in 2017, 2018, and we kind of talked about it, doing things, because I was going through a rocky marriage at the time,
right.
And I had no money because I was like I said, biggest financial mistake was that car, and I was paying for it. You know what happened when I first bought it? Blew the piston. Got a new engine in it, and then they gave me a new engine free of charge.
Nice.
That was burning oil like a classic BMW always does. So this thing was starting to eat itself apart. It was a $20,000 loan. I was paying like $367 a month on it, and I also had the insurance was for like $250. And
so you're paying like I always tell people, like, your car should be somewhere. I'm so conservative here, guys. I'm like, your car should be 3 to 10%, no more than that. For us, for example, I drive my wife's car since high school. My other car, which you haven't seen it, maybe I'll take you by there, is paid for, and it was a status thing for me. I believe cars...
Exactly. That's the bug that I got bit by.
100%. I think cars are it's the number one thing that keeps people poor. I'll be honest. It's the worst investment as soon as you drive it off the lot. Exactly. Like, and I don't... Like, and when my wife said she wanted a new car, I was just like, why?
Do you need it?
Yeah, exactly. And we got her a new car because she wanted a new car. I'm learning. This is my second marriage, guys. Happy wife, happy life, But she wanted it, and she just, she finished med school. She got a big doctor job. I said, fine. And the first thing I'm going to do when I sell that property is probably pay off that damn car because I just can't stand owing interest. Anyway, so you had the car. So tell me more about the crypto and how did you start getting real serious? Like, what's that pivot for you?
So basically, let's just move fast forward a little bit. Sure. So I didn't hold any crypto after I discovered it. I didn't actually start buying and investing in it until like the 2020s, like COVID era, because I actually had more money. So like once I left the Marine Corps and joined the Army and became an officer, I had a lot more capital that I had. A way bigger paycheck once you go to the officer realm.
Good.
A lot more. I was like, oh my God.
Well earned, though.
I can actually move this, because one thing I was realizing, I can't save money for the life of me. And that's going back to that point I talked about earlier. How do all these people afford things? Oh, their money works for them.
And it's interesting, like, I want to get into stats of the military, and I didn't get into this, and I won't dive deep into this because we talked about this.
I can't really give you accurate statistics.
Yeah, and I can. So over 38% of military have less than $500 in their accounts.
At any given time?
At any given time. And there's 16 military graduates are billionaires. So there is, and I think about 78% of military carry heavy debt and has a heavy burden on families. And so this has got to change, guys. And you're not the first military person I had. I actually had a military person adjacent to me, and they lived on. And when you're young, you just don't know. But they lived on, and a lot of these kids going into military, they come from, the family doesn't have money. And I know this because I have stories. I visited my brother, and we sat around, we talked to all the military people. They drink, they spend all their money on alcohol. or
High school.
girls. Exactly. And they had that mindset. But I also knew some guy who lived off, like, they had their meals paid for, they had everything paid for, and they took all their money and they put it in investments. And that's that couple I was telling you about. It's worth $2.5 million, and he's bringing a heavy check of that because he's the one who invested. Go ahead.
It's also one thing that the only good like bit of financial information or education that they try to do, like that I remember this from boot camp, because I understand that it's an issue that a lot of people in the military are really bad at managing their money.
Right. A lot of Americans are bad at managing.
I would say that, like, you can't just say the military. It's everybody in the States.
It is.
Most people just keep themselves poor on purpose.
100%. And they don't realize it.
They don't know.
That's it. But I'm not saying do it, but I do.
It's like so they give us like our own version of a 401k.
Right.
And that's a TSP.
Right.
So we can actually elect how much percentage of our paycheck comes out and goes into it. And you can also change it, which funds it's going into.
That's good. Can you pick any investment, or you pick their investment?
You can't pick exactly. It's like, let's say I can't tell the account, hey, go invest in the S&P 500. I can't tell them that, but there's like one of those funds that actually they do a lot of those ETF investments.
Right.
And you'll watch your TSP go through the roof. Because also if you're just compounding over time, like if you were to, let's say, put 10% of your paycheck through your home, if you're doing like a whole 20-year tour, you could walk away potentially, especially with inflation. You could walk away with like 1 million, maybe 2 million in your TSP, and that's retirement.
Before 40.
Before 40, because if you join at 18, retire at 38.
Right.
But people want all the money they can get right now.
Why?
So it's just that I would say it's educational.
It is educational.
Like, I remember growing up in high school, I didn't learn anything about money. My family didn't teach me really also anything about money.
This is why I'm doing this. This is like
I'm all self-taught.
Right. Eventually, what I want to do is I want to have a free financial, and I'm speaking into existence. I'm manifesting this, and I know there's courses out there, and I look at courses like something you can pay like $299. People who I follow, who I'm big fans of, and yes, this podcast is not cheap. It's like $4,000 a month. Very transparent about that to keep it production. I believe in the mission so strongly that I don't care, but I do believe that financial literacy is something I want to offer. And I want to give it for free. Like, I want to teach financial literacy just as a hobby.
Sometimes I feel like I should charge the people I talk to when I give them investment advice, because I will run my mouth all day about all the knowledge I have in cryptocurrency and the current picks that I'm working on. And they just go, oh, that's pretty, hey man, can you tell me what you're invested in? I tell them everything. I tell them how much money this should probably be. I give them like, hey, how much money can you afford to lose?
My thing is, like, I feel like it's a gift that what you've done for your family, which we haven't talked about, and we'll talk about in a second, but it's a gift. And I feel like there's a revelation of power that you have that I think is God-given. I am a spiritual man. We don't ever talk about faith, but I do believe that God gives you very much spiritual gifts. And one of the spiritual gifts that you have is revelation. Like, wow, this is something innate in me. I don't know where I come from, but this is something I'm interested in, but you should give back. That's just me. I give back as much as I can.
It's like I would always carry myself as a generous person. I'd offer free things to everybody. I can help you out in any way.
I do agree with that.
And if I can, I always like helping people. If I have a way that made me money, maybe it works for you too, but you just got to be on top of it. There's a certain mindset you have to have with this.
Don't waste your time, because there's a lot of people who reach out to me. Hey, bro, let's hang out for a whole weekend. I'll lock myself on Friday and Saturday. We'll do this whole thing. And then you see them out on Thursday and Friday. And I'm like, listen, like, I'm not going to waste my time with that. So you have to like pick and choose. But anyway, so jumping back to crypto. So like you're going all in on crypto. Like tell me what was your mindset was. You started with $1,500.
So this is like this last cycle that I had. So I'm just going to dial back a little bit, because I'm going to tell you about the mistakes that I made. So in the last bull cycle that we had in 2021, I was like dropping every paycheck, probably around $1,000 to $500 here and there, nickel and diming, and I was just going into Cardano, and that eventually turned into $10,000. And then what I did with that $10,000, I was starting to get more of an idea of playing the field, and I was like, okay, now I want to take I was almost swing trading essentially. I took my whole portfolio, what it was worth, and I moved it into something else, because I was just chasing those big green candles. Actually, no, the correct word is multipliers. Multipliers are freaking everything in this space. And I noticed people were talking about the stupid Doge stuff. I was like, it's dumb. I don't follow the meme stuff. I
You know, it's funny you say that.
Stupid retail investors.
When an episode drops, I have a whole episode of 6 or 8 get rich quick schemes, and Dogecoin is something I really heavily dissect.
I would heavily recommend not investing in Dogecoin.
Yes.
The tokenomics are not ideal.
Yes. And there's a lot of coins are pump and dump, but we'll like that's not the purpose.
But
of today.
basically, here's the thing. I was actually catching that trend. I was like, well, I got 10 grand. And this is like when the other one SHIB. I was like, okay, screw it. The thing is, this money isn't real to me. It's just monopoly money at this point. And I was like, okay, let's see what I can do. So I threw 10 grand at
it's
SHIB.
gambling. Like
Essentially,
is.
I thought it was more of like I think of it more of like calculated gambling a little bit, but it is
I'm gonna
gambling
be honest
nonetheless.
with you. It's 100% gambling.
Oh, it's total casino. The meme
not
stuff.
what you're doing now. I've seen what you're doing
Yeah.
now. It's not gambling. So guys, like you're like probably like, why is Zach bringing on someone who's gambling on crypto? No. Like that's where he started, and that's
Yeah.
a great way to start because he's learning. He's not knowing that he's doing that.
I didn't even get to the real the lesson learned yet, but I was just talking about how it went. So I took that 10 grand, I put into SHIB. I was like, well, this probably will go up because everyone's talking about Doge. It actually did, and I made 80 grand off it. I turned 10 grand to 80 grand. I have never seen that kind of money in my life ever. I don't come from a wealthy
the
family.
bug.
I got bit by the greed. The
Yeah,
greed
but
started getting me.
That's true, but you also got bit by the bug, like what investing can do for you.
Exactly. And I saw that. I was like,
You'll
ooh.
never be the same again.
No. I saw that 80 grand, but you know what I didn't do? I wasn't like actual avid investor. I didn't have like a stop put in. I didn't think about any of that. I was just like, ride it, see what happens. I saw it going.
Break that down for people though. I want to slow down. So when you say stop,
Okay, so I'll use some like stock market terminology.
Yeah.
So if I'm placing a limit order, so I'm putting a limit at a set price. If it's at that set price, that's when it will activate and I will get filled. And then a stop is where you could use a stop, like if I want to do a stop loss or I want to do a stop order. So this is where I want to do my take profit. Right. That's actually the correct term I'll use. Take profit. I didn't set a take profit at all. None whatsoever. So I was like letting it ride. Essentially, it's like letting a runner go.
just kind of let it go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so risky. By the way, I don't recommend that.
No,
but
don't let it ride.
But at the same time, like you have grown such a valuable tool set that you don't even realize. I see the charts you send to me. I see the things that you break down for me. I'm like, wow, you said I used to work on the trading floor, so I know a lot about this.
You work at Wall Street?
Yes, here in Charlotte. Yes, most people don't know there's a trading floor here in Charlotte. I
Wow.
can disclose the company I work for, but yeah, there is a trading floor here. I used to work there like 2-3 years. We'll talk more about that off camera.
Okay.
So it's not about me, but yeah, yeah. I worked in every aspect of financial services, from community to lending to wealth to private equity to every single aspect of money I have worked in. So I feel like I'm pretty qualified to talk about this. And not many people can say that, by the way. Anyway, so yeah, talk to me about, so as you're learning these skills, when did you pivot? And tell me about your challenges that you're facing. So you're letting it run. I think that's a risk, by the way.
Yeah, so I let this run, and then I watched it start tanking. I'm like, oh crap. I don't want to watch all my money go away. So I sold. I still walked away with profit because remember, I started with 10 grand, made it up to 80,
and now where you're at?
40.
40.
Actually, no, correction, 25. 25K.
But you still made a profit.
I still made profit. And then I was just I was actually starting to get more into actually looking at news, seeing what's trendy, trying to actually use a little bit of calculated investing.
There you go.
And I saw, this is like when Facebook announced they're going meta, when they did that. And
What impact did that have?
I saw there was like one crypto's Mana was a ticker symbol, MANA, Decentraland. They were partnered with Facebook and they shot. Like they were predicted to go up. So I bought in. I think the price, it's been a few years, so I don't quite remember the price target I was at, but I was watching it incrementally go up. And then I hopped in around probably like $1.20. Then it shot up to like, I think it was like 10 within a matter of like a month or less, like or a few days actually. And I remember when I was looking at the chart, I was at a Halloween party in flight school and drunk as hell, not paying attention. I was like, oh, cool guys, look, I made all this money. And then you know what? The same thing happened to SHIB. It had that massive rise up and then it crapped down.
A lot of coins are pump and dump.
Well, that one necessarily wasn't as much of a pump and dump,
Right.
but
a lot of like every time, like the thing is, this is what I say about investing.
mass sell-off.
Exactly. Once the secret is out and you're learning about it, like the whole GameStop thing, like once you're part of that in the beginning and you're part of this crew that's doing that, but once everyone else knows about it, you might as well not even do it.
I did hop in that trend actually too.
Did you?
I was in a GameStop trade, but that's another story.
Yeah.
We don't need to really talk about that because we're here talking about cryptocurrency. We don't need to be talking about the stock market. But that's still investments that I got into nonetheless because I was trying to diversify. So actually also, while at the same time I was doing my crypto investing, I was trying to day trade a little bit. I actually was profitable. But once again, remember how I was talking about earlier when I saw people, those YouTubers that have massive portfolios already?
Right.
So they're able to generate way more P&L.
Right. And by the way, those YouTubers, like just to break that down a little bit, a lot of their wealth comes from their $30, $50 memberships, and they have like 100,000 of those.
One of the guys
Most people don't know
of the
that.
guys I was following, I actually looked. It's funny you mentioned that because I saw his membership fee for his trading company. It was like $1,000, $1,000 a month,
Right.
and then he was like another like a few grand if you wanted his like little scanner tech that he had for like to scan the market. I was like,
Smart. You're making a lot of money.
Oh,
The
yeah.
thing is, like, eventually what I want to do.
he's paying. They're paying for his losses.
Right.
He has one.
What I'm trying to do is, like, eventually what I want to do is have somewhere on my website full transparency of my financial investments, which is absolutely probably insane. I've analyzed over probably thousands at this point ETFs, and I pick the top 10 every single year. And I've always like retrade that, and that's what I do. I don't have a financial advisor. I kind of just pick that. That's what I do in my own personal accounts. I digress. So I'm telling you guys. So follow along if you're interested in that, and let me know if you are. Just drop a comment. Yeah. So we haven't gotten into the wow factor. So tell me. So once you got into Shinobi, I think it was Shinobi.
It's Shiba Inu.
Shiba Inu. There you go.
That's where I got the biggest number I've seen in my life. So
And then now tell me how you transitioned into actually making this serious.
making it actually serious because like that's when I was starting to get serious about it because also my dad at the same time we kind of copied off each other a little bit, but he started finding stuff on his own and he found his plays and he was sticking with them. And
So you
I was
led your
doing mine.
dad to investing.
So actually, that's another point. I want to get into that after I finish circling back to like the mess ups that I was doing. So after I had that after I went from SHIB to Mana, it went up, but then it went back down. That was my biggest failure, was not taking profit. I still ran away with more money than when I first started with, but then that led to another trend. I got into a few more cryptos after that, and you watched my graph go slowly down and down and down and down because I was just honestly just chasing and I was being emotional and I wasn't using sound judgment.
Okay.
And then the restart happened in 2023. 2023 is when I actually really started. I started with a bunch more, and then I pretty much started from the bottom. All that money, that Monopoly money it's all gone. Never existed because I never took profit necessarily. So I'm starting from the beginning. Now, bear in mind, I had some other financial hardships. I was paying $1,200 a month in child support for my divorce. I was freaking getting wrecked. So I actually couldn't really put money to invest. But you know what? That's the thing. Going back to that winner or loser quote I said earlier, right. I didn't quit. I found whatever money I could and put away. And actually, now that pick that I was talking about, the one I got serious about was ArcBlock, ABT. That's when I really started getting actually serious, focusing on that.
So before we jump into that, let's just summarize, because we talked about a bunch of things. Let's just summarize your pitfalls and challenges. So one that stuck out to me was you jumped on trends, and so that's number one, which was a challenge, probably a pitfall. Number two is you didn't set boundaries of your investment. You just kind of let it rogue. So would you agree that's a challenge?
Oh, absolutely.
Number three is you were also trading on emotion, which is the worst thing to do, guys.
Yes.
So number three, any other challenges there that you want to summarize?
Well, those are pretty big ones, but there's no goal. Though that was like blind. There was no goal investment too, because like once again, I was trading without a take profit. I had
so
no.
you didn't
goal.
have a goal in mind.
It was just like, let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
Kind of
but
gambling.
At the same time, though, it was gambling. But my thing is gambling with building your skill sets. It wasn't like I have a method that I follow. It's called the GIFT method. It sounds cheesy, but hear me out.
It does sound very cheesy.
Yes, but G is grow your skill sets.
Okay.
I is initiate financial foundations, which grow your skill sets is I don't think you should invest until you make 100 grand. That's just me. Initiate is where you understand how the basics of financials work. F is forge your financial strategies. how do you want to get wealthy, and I have a 14-step, like what should you do? Should you pay off debt? Should you have emergency fund? Blah, blah, blah. The fourth one is thrive. I'm on step 4. I hit my Coast Fire number, which is my retirement number, about 35, about 3 years ago. So I don't have to invest any more money in my retirement. Like, I'm actually free and clear of my retirement. Now I can focus on things like this, because this is me living in purpose. And I'm gonna help other people do that, by the way. So you are growing your skill set. Okay, all right, so now let's move on to the next phase, and you're starting to take this more seriously. Tell the people, if they're interested in cryptocurrency, like what should you do as far as understanding that and making it a true investment, not just letting your money go rogue?
So if you're going to invest into something, you have to believe in it. Why am I actually investing in this? Is it going to go somewhere, or am I just following some influencer crypto kid saying some?
I don't recommend that.
Who's trying to pump his crypto? Because
Exactly.
most of what people don't understand is, if you see somebody's talking about it, someone already had a big bag of it, and you're buying their bag as they sell,
Right.
and you're gonna end up holding what they have.
Called pump and dump. Explain to people what pump and dump is.
So basically, X individuals, smart money, buys into something when nobody's talking about it. It's cheap. They can have a massive supply. Their token count is through the roof. And then they start talking about it. Let's pump the bags a bit. That's marketing, essentially. But when we use pump and dumps, that's mainly for like scheme. So it's fake. It's that
Exactly.
The crypto has no utility.
Right.
It's useless. It's just someone's trying to fill their bag up. And they'll influence out to their kids, their followers, the gullible people, and they're like,
Okay, I'll jump on board. Oh, great. I'll put my mom's credit card on this. I'll do all this. Okay, cool.
and as they're buying it, they already left, and there's a massive sell, and
Exactly. So what do you look for? Now, you named a few, right? And so, by the way, we're not sponsored by any of these. These are just at his whim, right? Tell us, calculated whim, tell us, what do you look for in a very specific cryptocurrency?
So one thing I'll actually lead into before I even look into anything, where I get a lot of my information from, is I get it from people. And I do follow a specific group, and if you want me to advertise them, I will. They're not really well known. They're really small and low key. NYC. Very.
Where are they? Are they Reddit, Facebook?
They have their own.
Discord?
They have their own app. They're actually on Twitter, but they have their own app. NYC Odd App. My man Dion is making me a lot of freaking money right now.
So what we should do is we should clip this up, and then we should send them a reel to shout him out.
Oh, he'd probably like it. I mean, he's changed my freaking life. Because
Shout out to you, Dion.
He spent a lot of time in the financial realm, but my dad had a friend that was in crypto after I told him about crypto, because he's like, ooh, we're in the same stuff now, and then like he showed Dion to him, and like he was pretty much like miniature influencer, but it's a very niche community,
Right.
Very small. Like to keep it. They say they like to keep it that way. Very rated R, by the way. Like to advertise as like a comedy finance channel, but basically what they would do, he would freaking put out pics out there, but he'd have like the CEOs and sometimes come on too, and you actually get to hear the guys that are actually behind the project.
That's awesome.
And then obviously it's always up to you as the investor. Do your own freaking research. Don't freaking blindly follow somebody, because that's how you get wrecked.
Agree.
Happened to me.
Agree. And that's what I say. Like I look at a doctor. This is the best way to describe this. Like Susan Scruggs, we talk about health and wealth, right? So from a health perspective, people can resonate with this, because doctors do 10% of the work. They're the shepherds, right? 90% of the work of your health is onus on you. Same thing with wealth advisor. People with their financial advisor just says, here, you gotta trust blindly. Don't do that. Health and wealth are two things you should never trust blindly. You should have a shepherd to guide you, whether you do your own independent research, watch this podcast, or you trust to somebody else, but you should never trust blindly.
You can only choose what you could put in your body, and what you put on your body, and what you do to your body.
Right.
Where do you put it? That's it.
That's right.
You have control over that. Nobody else does.
So let's go through maybe the top 2 or 3 things from a cryptocurrency standpoint. What is the things that you look for?
So when anybody's looking for a good investment, right? What I learned from NYC, and when I'm trying to look at good picks, what I really like is tokenomics. So it's like, let's say
What is that?
So tokenomics is basically talking about what is a circulating supply, because then we're talking about the laws of supply and demand. So if you have something that has a lower supply count and still at a low market cap, the more that market cap moves at that low token supply, the faster the price action, the more volatile the price action. Because the way I've been making money is buying something with low market cap, but also low coin cap, because you're making your money off the multipliers. And if you're buying the bottom of something, like I'll go into an example, right? Arc Block, that got called at 7 cents. It's now trading around $4, and it had a high recently, like this last month, of $4.70.
What does that mean though? Break that down even more.
Like talk about like the percent. Like, so basically what I'm saying is I'm looking for percentages like Xing, like, you can get 1x, 2x, 3x your money. I'm up like what, 4x, like 4,000%.
Yeah.
4,000% on the year from what I did.
But how did you choose Art Block other than just this community?
So
Like
I was listening to them, but I was looking at it. But the thing that really caught my eye, also one, Tokenomics too, has 98 million circulating supply.
So Tokenomics. And what does that mean though for people who don't know what that means?
For you, Tokenomics?
Right.
Well, it's just how you look at something. It's how you look at it. If I have something that has a higher coin count, it takes a lot more capital to move that price. So let's say Doge, right? Doge has billions upon billions of coins. Its market cap is like 13 billion right now, and it's not even $1.
It's like 80 wallets or something like
No,
that.
not wallets. It's cents.
Right.
It's probably trading around like, I haven't checked the market. I don't follow meme coins, but I did see like its market cap was around 13 billion.
Right.
And it's trading for still pennies.
Right. But my thing is, I don't understand the value behind that other than just being.
It's a joke.
Elon's.
The actual creator
Exactly.
of Doge he
Elon
made it as a joke.
invested in that, and that's what made it spike. And then he probably pulled his money out and made more money.
Hold some more money.
Right. Exactly. so Tokenomics. Okay.
Tokenomics, but then another big thing, utility. I don't trade meme coins right now. I trade utility. You know what I love about ArcBlock? AI. What's the next biggest trend right now? AI.
100%. 100%.
Mix tokenomics with actual utility base. That's something I could believe in, and that's a project that I can invest in and feel comfortable doing it.
100%. So let me break this down for you guys. So in my network, people who are investing into cryptocurrency, there's something called a utility aspect of the cryptocurrency. Some of that could be data mining. Some of that could be storage. Some of that could be AI. And so when you're looking at these and you're like, what is utility? What does that mean? It means it has more value other than just the whole trading value. It does something under the hood. The best way I can explain this is most people know cryptocurrency Bitcoin. And if you're kind of deep into this, they know Ethereum. Ethereum is utility, how I see it, right? I'm looking at him, making sure I'm getting this right. And so the coins that he's discussing, they have other utility functions, which that to me is a sexy thing when it comes to investing, especially in the crypto. And crypto, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to take a stand at the end. It is still wild, wild west. We're still figuring this out, right? So did I do that justice as far as explaining what utility is?
For the most part, yeah, it does something. That in layman's terms, it actually does something.
Right. So tokenomics, utility, what else do you look for? Or are those the only two things? And that's fine.
It's really that simple, but also you're going to look for, is the leadership good? Do they actually, if you go to their website, are they actually doing what they're talking about?
So wait a minute.
Leadership.
You're not just buying it and just closing your eyes like, okay, Dogecoin. You're actually looking at leadership.
Jeez, I want this one. This one looks shiny. I like the picture.
No,
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Right.
I'm actually...
Same thing with the company. Same thing with stock.
It's like, I'm not going to buy some crap company.
Right.
No. I'm going to invest them if I actually see that they mean what they say. And I like an active CEO who's always out there. Robert Mao is the CEO of ArcBlock, and he is constantly tweeting, and he's tweeting good stuff. I'm also looking for, I forgot, utility, tokenomics, partnerships. Who are they partnered with?
What does that mean?
What companies are they working with? And when I see big S&P 500 companies on there, I'm like, yes, please, sign me up. I'm in.
You know what's funny is you've always talked to me about cryptocurrency, but we never had this conversation off camera. And the more you talk about stuff like this is the more I'm interested and excited. Because this is what, maybe I'm old school, and I've seen so many like kids, younger generation, 18-year-olds to like 30, right? Like than them. It's older than me. That's what his age group is. And I see a lot of parents, I saw this one meme one time just to kind of break this up a little bit to kind of tell a story. where they had Netflix and they told his parents to invest all in this, and then they lost all their money, and now when you go in his Netflix account, it's like Mom, Dad, the investor in quotation marks, right? And so, but I think that you can take calculated risks, and I think what you're saying here is backed by very specifics. Like my favorite game publisher, y'all know I just came back from Japan, is Square Enix. Square Enix investing heavily in cryptocurrency. To me, the value is not cryptocurrency, it's a blockchain technology, but that's another discussion for another day.
Yes.
Okay, so those are the 4 things you're looking for. So tokenomics,
Utility, partnerships.
leadership,
Well, leadership, yeah, and partnerships.
partnership.
Yeah.
And leadership and partnership is something that you should look at any company, whether it's the stock. But I don't believe in buying individual stocks, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Okay, so let's change gears and make this more personal. And so you've done very, very well for yourself. You started with 1,500, and are you comfortable with me sharing with the audience like where you are now?
Yeah. Right now, so I started with 1,500, and my ledger's right now right around $55,000 to $60,000,
Which is insane.
and that's off
insane.
that's off one asset.
That's insane. That's insane. It's risky, but it's insane. But let's talk about how you expanded this knowledge to people in your loved ones, your network.
So I'll talk about my dad. When I first going back when I first
What's your dad's name?
Tom.
Tom. Shout out to you, Tom. We're gonna send this to you. You're gonna be watching.
So I showed my dad cryptocurrency in like 2017, 2018. He was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Because I told him like, "Hey, Dad, I just turned this amount of money into this." Because he didn't know about investing.
got the bug.
He made good money with what his job was, but he just
Yeah.
never saved anything.
Right. And this is what I tell people. You cannot save yourself to wealth, because back in 1920s, your grandfather, your grandparents can save their wealth to wealth. And I have people in my immediate family that I just want to sit them down and tell them, you cannot save yourself to wealth. I can help you. But this is why I'm doing the podcast, because
Fiat makes you poor.
I want to help people. Exactly. And what is fiat?
Cash.
Exactly.
Cash makes you poor.
I break everything down here just because, like, if Emily was in the room, she would not know. That's why we volley very well, because she doesn't really know. It's like, I don't know what that is. Anyway, so to talk to us about your dad and how much you changed his life.
Okay, so my dad always had a hard time spending money, or saving money. Sorry. He was also like a guy that was like always bit by the cool bug. Always had to buy like the cool stuff, all that, nice car or something.
The best way to stay
guns.
broke
Yes.
is to spend your money. Not
Yes.
invest.
Yes, but then he saw this like, oh wow, my son's doing this. Okay, and I was like talking about, I was like, hey Dad, like get on this. This is pretty kind of cool. He actually had the capital to actually do something with it, and he went from buying a bunch of guns all the time that he didn't need. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my guns too, but he got bit by the gun bug, and he was spending a lot of freaking money, but it wasn't doing much for him. So you know,
So does Emily's dad.
he started selling them, and you know what he started doing? Buying crypto. He started buying crypto with all that
John,
freaking
I'm just going to
profit.
pause you right there. Like, that is incredible that you were able to bring someone into financial literacy and investing. And Sean, if you're watching, like Tom, what's his name? Tom. Sorry, Sean and Tom sound like similar to me. Tom, if you're watching, which you'll be watching, so we'll send this video to. That's awesome. You know, like, I think the greatest gift that you can give to your
Love you,
parents. I love that. The greatest gift you can give to your parents is give them a different filter.
They give you life. You can give them back in something
agree.
where you can make their life better too.
Like, me taking my parents to Nashville was one of the most endearing things for me, just because I was in a position where I could do that. And they talked about it for years. And, you know, my parents, like, I love you guys. And they know this. I've been around the world, and they talked about, oh, let's go to Vegas, let's go to Nashville, but they've never done it. And they can do it. And I created that opportunity, you know, for them. And that it was, I remember walking by the Opry. It was like 2:00 in the morning, and God, they were drinking with the best of them. And I looked at my dad, and my dad had tears in his eyes. He's like, oh my God, this is like the Opry. And
I'm actually here.
This is it. Yeah. And I'm just like looking at him, and just chills.
I get you, but moving on. So my dad started actually really getting into it. He started delving deep. Actually, as I introduced my dad and stuff, we became almost a little bit of partners too. We kind of sometimes invested the same, but he had the money to play with. I was just kind of on the sidelines. It's like, this was back in like 2017, 2018. I was still, you know, had my own life. I didn't have a lot of money. I was still living it, doing Marine Corps stuff. And then, but once I joined the Army and I had more money, and I was like, okay, we're going to get serious. We're going to start doing some stuff, make some changes. Because this is like after the divorce. Post-divorce me, I was like, I need to freaking make something of myself. I'm going to freaking be a killer. I'm going to freaking, I need it.
Right.
I need to win. And that's when I got on that spiel. But no, yeah, he started researching on his own. He got into some other picks, and around 2020 came around, like that first cycle started happening. Like my dad made, he with his own stuff, he had, I think he netted like 150 his first time, his first go
What
around.
did you start with?
I don't
Are you
know.
comfortable with that?
I
That's
don't.
fine.
It's the thing is, I don't actually know.
That's fine. So he netted 150 based upon just
Out off of like, this is similar to me putting like 1,000 here at a time, maybe a few hundred here at a time, stuff like that. But he had way more than me to play with. I get paid bi-weekly.
Right.
So I take X amount, put it away.
Right.
He was whenever, because he for his line of work, I mean, I'm not going to go into it, but he gets good money for what he does.
Right.
And that was the first go round, like around 150K. And we were talking about it. He just never sold. He had the same mistake that we both had the same mistakes, and we talk about it. Let it run, and then he watched it go down. But he never sold though. He never sold, so he didn't take the loss. That was just on one asset, but we also started investing the same stuff when we started following NYC. We got behind what they were talking about, did our own research, and invested accordingly. And so going back to ARC Block ABT, when I was telling you about it, 7 cents, my dad purchased 82,000 of them when they were trading for 7 cents.
Jesus.
So that's like maybe a few grand. That's not a lot. Not a lot. And now he's worth, with its current price, probably close to, with that one asset alone, close to 400,000.
Wow.
He's got other assets where he's up big. Like he was able to make.
Let's just pause for a second. I just want to bring the viewers along, just in case you're not
Token count's important.
following with us. So you inspired your dad to invest. He netted 150. You guys did a lot of research. The 4 things you're looking for: tokenomics,
Utility, leadership, partnership.
Exactly. And we're saying that because I want to bring the value other than just the stories we're telling here. And so based upon those 4 things, you discovered a coin. Your dad went all in on that. Invested a few thousand, you said?
And this is gonna be also funny. This is when, right after I met you, right? Mid 2023. That's when we started buying this stuff.
Yeah, I know.
And after
He told me to buy it, by the way, guys.
I did tell him to buy it. I was freaking.
This is
yanking
also,
him.
I'm in the bus like, bye. Is it too late to buy?
No, it's a triple digit. So it's trading for like around $4, but you have to spend a lot more money. You know, it's kind of crazy. I spent like $1,500 on my bag. You would have to spend $55,000 just to be at my level.
Wow. Jeez.
But here's the thing too. One thing, I actually had a lot more. I had close to like my dad's bag. So I had around like 66, between 6.
Define bag though. I don't know what that means.
Bag is just slang term for what you're holding.
Got it.
So I had around 60 to 70,000 tokens of ABT back in that time. But right before I deployed to Romania, I had child support was kicking my ass. So I had to dump money, because basically this goes into my strategy though.
Right.
I use investing because I'm single. I live like I'm poor. Because I believe in this so much, I take whatever money I have and I just put it away.
I love it.
Because I don't keep my bank account. You know how you're talking about military members at 500? Mine is like that, because I take it all away and I invest it and I leave whatever's left for bills and groceries. That's it.
Right. But that's part of the whole initiate, right? The I in gift method, but it's building those initiate financial foundations, excuse me. And it's where you understand your budgets and understand, like, to me, like, I live like I'm poor. And so Chase, that was on the podcast, and I always tell people you should have double of what your bills are in your checking account. When, like, for example, let's say our bills are $11,000, double that is $22,000. When we have $22,000 in our checking account, we have $0. That's what I always say. And so, and the emergency fund and all that. And I'm so cash poor. And I don't have, like, that's the name of the game, just like you. But that's to me, that's a good way to be.
And it's kind of funny too, because I look at my bank and go, "Oh my God, I'm broke." But then I look at my ledger and I'm like, "No, I'm not."
Right.
No,
but no, it's a good mental game to play with yourself.
It is.
You know? And then, and we'll talk about at the end about the stand. Okay, so your dad has made 400,000. plus.
He's at right now like close to like 5, but that's just, here's the thing, ArcBlock alone, he's up that much just with that one asset. He's got a bunch. We're currently invested some other picks that aren't blossomed yet because we're buying the bottoms. We're taking advantage of that price. And like one of the picks I'm in, they have an SEC case in July. After that goes through, it's going to be very parabolic. And that's why I'm taking advantage of this time. It's still trading in the cents right now, like sub 10 cents.
Right.
And now I'm learning my lesson because like I messed up with ArcBlock. I had a bunch. I had to sell a bunch to actually pay for child support and stuff. And when I was in Romania, I was too busy having fun, going around in Europe and spending my money out there because I was just trying to enjoy life. Because I came off, I was just trying to like, I'm going to go enjoy myself.
Right. And you should. There's some balance to that. And so let's close this out. So you talked about your pitfalls, your challenges, how you get into cryptocurrency, and the 4 things that you're looking for, which are the nuggets for today, guys. So if you are looking to cryptocurrency, don't just buy blindly. Is there anything like final that you want to say to the listeners, whether you're in the military or not, around cryptocurrency, just to kind of sum it out?
Well,
is it too late to invest in cryptocurrency?
It's not too late, but you have to understand this stuff does currently move in trends right now. I mean, after the Bitcoin halving, typically how the cycle goes is after Bitcoin halve, you might see a little bit of a pop. There might be actually more of a crash coming up. And then big rise. But here's the thing. If you actually want to invest in something, you have to believe in it, do it, and then set your orders, what you want. Okay, I'm buying here. I'm going to sell at here. Believe in it. And because if you let it ride, you can watch it go down. That's why I say put in that freaking stop order and pick what you want to do.
Right. And don't be emotional. Be logical with your investment
Be
choices.
very methodical what you do. Don't just go randomly go. Because here's the thing. Like when I'm telling my friends, also I forgot to mention this. My childhood best friend from high school.
How was your best friend? Just kidding.
Don't stop, girl.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, so I made him $60,000 this year.
Wow. I have to feel really,
Actually, sorry,
good.
70. Correction. I made him 70 because I told him about ArcBlock last year, and he did the same thing that I did. Had like that little bag and just forgot about it. Never bought more. And then he watched it go up, and he started buying more again. And then he was like, "Oh shit, Sean knows what he's talking about." And he started listening to me, and I was like, "Hey man, I think you should buy this. This would be a good thing. This is your money though. Put whatever you want into it." There's risk always involved.
Always
He's
risk.
like, "Nope. I'm going to believe what you're doing, and I'm going to do it, and I'll sell if I feel like it." I was like, cool, awesome. And he's made $70,000 off of everything that I've told him to buy.
That's awesome.
So I'm kind of like, it's not financial advice, but I'm still telling him, hey, this is what I would do.
Right. My thing is I think it's a great, no matter where you are in your life, I think if you come up, you should bring people around you. Number one, that speaks to your character, especially people who follow you, and you have to do it responsibly. I think that is something to really look at. And that's what I say too, like when really close friends and family of mine look for investment advice, I'm very open about what I do. And I say, this works for me. I know this. I research it. Don't just follow me blindly.
You're not going to learn anything that way.
Right.
You're not going to make
and
yourself
a lot of people
better.
are just not interested in this. And that's not okay because
instant gratification culture.
100%. Health and wealth are 2 things you should not just glaze over. And me and we talk about this off camera. God first, family second, love always. Then it's health and it's wealth. That's what we believe. That's our mission. That's our mission statement. Honestly, that's what we believe in. Okay, so guys, you always come to me at the end, so I'm gonna give you my thoughts on this. All right, with any investment, there are risks. Now, Sean is an absolute super case here. He has, I would say, almost radical case where he made $1,500 all the way up to 80, all the way up to 40, and now he's, I think, 65.
65.
Right, and his father also has done this as well. He's netting $500,000 or whatever, which he has not sold. I would say, number one is invest in what you know. This story that we're sharing here, it is possible. So if you are in the military, you are watching here, the individual person has the power to change their destiny and not accept where they are in life. That's important to me. Number 3 is cryptocurrency is something that it's like it's very trendy. It's very wild west, right? However, as time goes on, it's getting stronger and stronger, right? In fact, there are some ETFs in cryptocurrency which never existed before, and we didn't really talk about this before, in this episode. But cryptocurrency, there are risks associated, right? So, for example, like stealing your wallet, your password, all of that, which Sean did not talk about. That stuff can happen, but that was like 5 years ago. It's gotten better. You wanted to respond to that?
I don't keep any of my cryptocurrency on an exchange. I have my own private ledger, which
is very risky.
Storage. It's not risky at all because you have a 24-word seed phrase that only you have access to.
But what if you lose it?
If you lose it, you're an idiot.
It happens.
You shouldn't do. You don't do that. Like, so basically, what I would say, if you have that 24. Here's the thing with my ledger.
You have it memorized?
No, you keep it written down and you tuck it away because.
What if your house burns down? No, I'm serious.
I
have read many stories. Like this is the risk investing in crypto.
But also, I mean, here's the thing. The reason why I say the ledger.
I asked you a question.
What?
What if your house burned down?
If my house burned down, do I put it in a safe where it's fireproof?
Maybe.
That's a smart thing to do.
But what would you do?
That's what my dad does.
What would you do?
What would I do?
Exactly. You can say fucked on camera, by the way.
You're fucked.
Right. But honestly, what if someone hacks you? I have a friend of mine.
Your ledger can't. So your ledger, if you have it on a ledger, they could try to scam you, but they can't hack you.
My friend of mine got hacked.
Does he have what?
He's very, very smart.
What does he have?
It's some sort of, it's a utility coin.
No,
It's
I'm not talking about like what
nodes.
crypto he has. I'm talking about where is he keeping it?
He was looking for information on a Reddit group, and he clicked on a link, and the link put something, and then it put spyware on his computer, and then it got hacked, and then he caught it though in time before he lost any money. But also, we never talked about like there's this whole thing about, I think it was Ethereum.
I don't keep mine on my computer. I don't. I have a
Right.
I have a private ledger. And
Right, but these
it's just
are
a
things
wallet
that-
address. That's
but
all it
these-
is.
These are the things, though, that I think as you think about investing in crypto, you have to make sure you understand the do's and don'ts to make sure that you are safe and protected. You have your own personal ledger. However, there are separate ledgers. So anyway, so what I'm trying to get at is there are risks involved. It's not risk-free. But I do believe if you're willing to put into the work and put some elbow grease behind this, I'm not gonna lie, his conversation, like we've had this conversation probably 5 times. This is probably more, I'm most excited now, and I'll let you guys know my journey on this because the things he said about partnership and the S&P. I also believe in diversification, things that have been around for hundreds of years, like the stock market, right? And I think that I'm not all in on real estate, which I was all in real estate for a while. I'm also some in the stock market. I also have cash. I have some high yield savings account. For businesses, I think you should diversify to make sure you protect yourself just in case crypto goes away. Like if crypto goes away for you guys are fucked.
Well, as of right now,
Yes, exactly. So that's my off camera. I've given him that advice. He's come to a certain level of wealth that I think he should take money and put it into a high yield savings account for your emergency fund, which you don't have. We talked about that. And the second thing is I think that you should take some of this wealth and put it into some really good ETFs, which I'm happy to share my ETFs.
That's actually my exit strategy. So
interesting that you say an exit strategy because, go ahead.
So basically what my main goal is, right? We're not even in the top of the bull market. We haven't even started really yet. Like I'm going to see there's potential for extreme amounts of like wealth, transfers of wealth going on.
I agree.
Because here's the thing too. We have ETFs now in cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
That's going to attract the market cap.
That attracts me.
The market cap topped for all of crypto around 3 trillion last cycle. Now that freaking Bitcoin has an ETF, Wall Street's involved,
100%.
BlackRock's involved.
100%.
You have so much more capital interest coming in.
One of my friends in a mainstream bank, I'm not going to say who, actually joined their organization to develop their cryptocurrency platform to start on this trend. A lot of big banks are not doing this. I think it's wrong.
I personally believe that
not going anywhere.
the crypto market, well, one, yes, crypto isn't going anywhere, and now the crypto market cap, the total market cap, is going to start competing with Wall Street at this point. Because
I don't know if I agree with that.
Not compete. Let me rephrase. Not competing, but what I mean, but because like what, the stock market cap is like what, 45 trillion or something, like something ridiculous. Yeah. But I see crypto going in the at least 10 trillion,
Nvidia
or something like
alone,
that.
I read something about this. It's like 2.6 trillion, which is bigger than Google. I know Nvidia, which is
bigger than Amazon, right now.
Yeah, huge. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's the AI stock. I don't believe in buying individual stocks. That's just not my motto. I just don't chase stocks. I don't chase stocks. I don't chase crypto. It's not my thing, but I'm willing to play in it if I have someone in my network. But just to kind of sum this out, investments all have risks. And what I'm saying to you guys is I just reviewed some risks and he's rebuttaling me. But at the same time, there's still risks, right?
There's always risk.
Right. There's still risk. And
we could go to zero and it could be your fault for buying now.
Right.
We could all just crash.
Right. And so there's regulation involved. It's not highly regulated like the stock market. And I think the stock market, and I work in banking, right? I used to work in banking. And I do believe that some of the foundations in there are there to help protect you because I see it every single day, right? But cryptocurrency is wild, wild west. And if you have some risk tolerance, so if you are older, I don't think that cryptocurrency is the right play for you because I think it's something that is kind of ill-defined. This is just my belief.
My dad's 60.
I know, and that's his position on this, and I understand. But I do believe that in the younger generation, and if you are interested in cryptocurrency, I think it's absolutely something to explore. But if you're older and you're trying to protect your nest egg, I'm not sure if it's worth to jump into this with 2 feet. This is my stand. It's my show. It's my stand on this. However, even though Sean, his parents or his dad has definitely ascertained that certain amount of wealth, my thing is when you're 60, you should really start investing in things that are very much not guaranteed, if you would, but very specific investments. Because at the end of the day, you're supposed to live off 3% of what your investments are doing, so that way you can live in perpetuity. The number one thing going on right now is not. It's the aging population. It's Social Security. It's all those things that we think is going to be in place by the time I get older, right? And those things are not necessarily guaranteed. So that's just my final thoughts of today's episode.
Social Security is not guaranteed for us.
It's not. Anything you want to say before we close? Any rebuttals of my final thoughts?
No.
I have to be fair. Like every single person on my show.
I wouldn't say. Like, the one thing I don't agree with is it doesn't matter what age you are. You can invest in whatever you want. It's up to you. It's up to the individual. I do
agree with that, but I think as you get older, you don't have time.
I would also say, well, that's why I like cryptocurrency so much, because it's not like buying a stock. If you're doing a long-term investment in a stock, typically you're going to be waiting a few years, more than a few years.
Or ETF. I don't buy the individual stocks, but
I just use it for generality. Versus crypto, I could buy something, hold it for a year. Holy crap! How much percentage did I just make?
Right, but it's so volatile though. It's not. But the thing is, I know the other side of this because I've seen the other side and I've been around the other side in my circle, my group, and they lost everything. So it's really up to you. But my thing is, Sean, you're in a different position because you cannot compare yourself to someone who is normal or average, if you would, in crypto. You're above average in crypto knowledge.
I don't even like to say that.
But most people who invest in crypto in particular will actually invest in crypto just listening and jumping on the trend, right? And that's just not, that's what I'm
bandwagoners is what we call them.
I'm trying to protect people from that. So people who are listening, that's who I'm protecting it from. But if you're willing to research, learns the ins and outs of how crypto works, how the blockchain technology works, I definitely think this is something to think about. But in my opinion, if you are over 60, I don't think this is the right investment for you.
Also because, too, it's a technology thing. And as you deal with older generations, technology is kind of unfamiliar to them.
I wouldn't even say that.
It's
so volatile. It's so volatile. So my thing is
I would say dangerous, yeah.
You work so hard for your money. and let's say you have $1 million at 60 or 500,000, I don't think that you should invest, because you guys were kind of like gambling a little bit, calculated risk, calculated investing, I would say, maybe not gambling.
I always think trading in general is calculated gambling.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, because here's why. When you have the S&P that has gone up 7% year over year, and you follow ETFs, there's multiple ETFs out there. You know this.
Yeah.
There's foreign ETFs. There's technology stock ETFs. There's real estate ETFs. And I believe that if you do blue chip stocks, and I'm not recommending ETFs for people of retirement age. I think they should do something, I think they should do something very, very conservative. Very conservative. Real estate, I also don't agree with, right? And so if you're at that level, you should definitely have more conservative investments like bonds. And I've never seen in my lifetime. I'm 38. Today's actually my birthday. By the way, we're filming on my birthday.
Hell yeah, dude.
Right. Honestly, I'm doing this on my birthday. There's nothing else I would rather do. This is like my life's work, my mission. Like, this is why I love this so much. My passion. Hopefully y'all see it, right?
Helping people financially.
Exactly. I want to really, really help people. And so I say that as you're investing at that age, it should be something that you should really calculate the risks on. And I think that you should move into things that are protected assets. And I never seen in my lifetime, again, sorry I didn't finish that thought, 5.5% of a high yield savings account. It's incredible. Like, I have like 50, 60 grand in a high yield savings account. I'm just getting $200-$300 every single month.
Free.
And it's
not doing shit.
It's my emergency fund.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, that's another episode of Susan Scrubs. Thank you so much for watching. A little bit of health.
A little bit of wealth.
And a lot of love. All right, guys. Until next time. Bye.
He's on the hustle, she's on the grind. There's no time to kill. For saving lives and new deadlines, and there's some holes to fill. With a little health and a little wealth and a lot of love. That's the life that we live. Susan Scrubs.